Hey. If my awesome panel will come up here. If you are on it, you know it. If you don't know if you're on it or not, then that means stay in your seat. So we'd love for you to come on up here, Gina and Donna and Mony, and take a seat. We're going to talk to some great producers today, and some of them might surprise you, because this guy is rocking it, and we're excited to ask them some questions and seeing what they're doing to succeed out there. So thank you guys so much for your time being here. And I want each one of you just to take a minute and just introduce yourself and where you're from and all that good stuff.
My name is Mony. I'm originally from Cambodia, actually. I was born in a slave labor camp in 1972 and lived in a slave labor camp for 6 years. Finally came to the United States in 1983. Been a police officer for 17 years, a little bit more. And now a real estate agent for 2.5 years. Overachiever. So love it.
You can't beat that. Oh my God! I was born to poor. And I won't say anything else. I'm Donna Garrison. I'm on the Fabulous Properties team with my sister Susan Shaw, who's in Ireland right now, enjoying her daughter who's a semester at sea. And been in real estate for 8 years with Keller Williams. Born and raised in Fremont. My sister and I both did the old tech background at Microsoft in the early days. Hung out a lot with Bill Gates and Melinda and the early part of technology, which was so fun and so much less drama than this business that we've all chosen. So that's who I am. Got 3 kids and lived in here in Pleasanton for 18 years and can't really complain.
I'm Gina Piper with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate. I was born and raised in the very rough neighborhoods of Pleasanton. Did I beat you on that one?
Yeah.
Sketchy.
I know. Been in real estate for 19 years. I remember when I was first started, I wanted to push that number. Now I want to back that number up. I can't believe it's 19 years. But same company the whole time.
Thank you so much for your time.
I swim with whales.
And she does yoga.
So I want to start with Mony, because this guy has, he was doing part-time, right, with the police, was still with the police department for a few years. When did you switch into full-time?
March 2nd, 2012 is when I decided to switch full-time.
So he's only been doing this full-time since 2012, and he did, what, 31? Is that what I?
My first year I did sold 27 homes. My second year I sold 32. I'm on track to do about 35 this year, hopefully 40.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing fantastic. So why don't you tell us, and then I want to move to these fabulous ladies. How does your business come in, and how do you keep on getting your business?
Oh my gosh, I have a whole list of things that, I first of all, I like to talk. I can talk all day long.
We know that.
Yeah. So referral and sphere of influence is huge. I just went back and calculated this morning what percentage I'm getting from my sphere of influence and also my referrals is 70.3% this year. So that's quite a bit of all the one we've done. Farming, not long we farm, we walk, knock on doors, I'm sorry. Social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, just hired a company to do inserts into my Facebook, my Twitter, and all that. And it's not about selling, it's about engaging. So we just hired someone to do all those 3 things, $47 a month, by the way. It's pretty cool. Lecture. Gosh, I lectured a couple of different places, ABC and Los Madonnas. It's about getting yourself out there to meet people. And then I lectured the class called Introduction to Business, and it's a 2.5-hour lecture to get people to really start to understand what this business is all about, how we do it. The other one is networking groups and events and classes. I have my own foundation as well, which is amazing. I can tell you a little bit more about it. But lead generation, more importantly. One of the biggest things that I noticed is missing in my business, I hired my sister to come in now to, every time we have a listings coming on or it goes pending or it goes sold, she calls into the neighborhood. About 200-300 homes every time. So our name's getting out there. So that's how we get our stuff, keep coming in.
Tom was like, what's the question? I was thinking about his little testimony there. Where does your business come from, and how do you keep it coming?
If you know me and you know Susan and I, we kind of like to keep it simple. There's just so many things one can do. There's so many lectures you can listen to. There's so many things that can happen. But the point is, if you don't do anything consistently, don't do them at all. people say, oh, I spent $100 on the ad and nothing happened with it. Well, that's not how advertising works. Advertising is about consistency. Marketing is about consistency. Reaching out and networking is about consistency. If you're gonna farm, just do it consistently. If you're gonna send a postcard, do it consistently. We have people tell us every day, oh my God, I see you everywhere. Well, they really don't. They just see us the same places all the time. And they say usually the same picture in the same format. I say focus and make sure that when you come in, you choose a brand and you choose a name and you choose that, and you don't change it up every 30 days or every 30 months for that matter. Stay consistent, make sure that what you do is consistent. What I started to say though is it's all about knowing what you like to do, knowing what you're good at, and knowing where you have some fun. I'm driven by fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm gone. I have about this much of an attention span, and I have to have some fun. So the truth is, I choose to market to the people that I have fun with and the people that I spend time with. And I'm very comfortable in certain scenes and in certain environments, and I happen to sell a lot in those environments because that's where I want to be. I'm not going to make myself into a motorcycle person so that I can hang with motorcycle people because that's not my passion. But my point to everybody is, so many people think, oh, I want to sell in a country club or I want to sell to athletes. Or be true to yourself and don't necessarily think that it's the end all to sell luxury or it's the end all to sell any certain category. Go to a place where you feel good and where you feel comfortable and then where you can be an expert. That's the other thing I say to people. You know, especially if you're new, and I'm 8 years in, and I still, open houses are a huge, huge deal for us. But let's be clear, I'm going to do open houses and I'm going to know every single thing in the world about that area in an area that I care about. I really can't be as passionate in other areas because I'm not necessarily interested in getting that buyer or that seller. So that's not best for me. So I'm best to usually find somebody to hold that house open for me so that I can stay in the area that really kind of turns me on. And I guess that really is a big deal. It's just stay true to yourself and then where does our business come from? It really comes from the people that we know. We know a million people, but honestly it took years for the millions of people that we know to call us. And you'd be surprised because, I mean, my first listing presentation was my aunt, and I was more freaking nervous for that presentation. And then during that time I was making a documentary, and I was interviewing some of the hottest shots in local politics, not one iota of angst. But I had to go talk to my aunt about listening with her, and I was as nervous as I was just crazy. So the point is, anyway, there's a lot of points, but the point is, you want to stay true to yourself and don't be thinking that you have to be like somebody else, or you're only going to be successful if you sell this, or the point is, do what's right for you, figure out how to make it work for you, work your tail off, because that's what's required. This is not a business where you can slack off, and I don't believe it, there's any such thing as part-time. The only thing part-time means is I'll be around to sell Uncle Smith's house when he's ready to sell it, because I'm not going to work at it. But you got to work at this. This is no hanging out.
So consistency.
It's all about consistency.
And if it's fun, it's easier to be
If it's
consistent,
fun,
right?
absolutely. Because you want to go back to that place. If I literally got up every morning and said, okay, today is the day I'm going to go knock on doors, ain't gonna happen. That's just not my style. That's not my thing. But not wrong for anybody else. I'm just going to do the things that are more fun for me.
Gina?
Okay, I'm doing something wrong because I don't know millions of people, but I feel like I should know millions of people. I had no idea you could even know millions.
It's true.
I do like what Donna said about keeping it simple. I definitely keep it simple. My business, the majority of my business comes from past clients, referrals, and branding. If I added more to that, I actually am not smart enough to keep it all together, so I wouldn't be able to have a successful business if I tried to put my hands in.
We'll take referrals over here.
You got it. I am terrible at internet calls. I do get a fair amount of internet calls. I suck at them. They call, typically an internet call for me, they ask about commission. And so as soon as they ask about commission, I say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, I'm totally not the right agent for you. But don't stop at that number, I'm sure someone will even do it lower. So I'm horrible at internet calls. I can't wait to get off the phone with those calls. So I keep it super, super simple. I'm all about past clients, referrals, and branding for me.
So speaking of commission, how do you guys overcome discounting your commission?
Yep.
Okay, Gina.
Yeah, I just get off the phone.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm just not down with that. I mean, we all take listings under 6%. I can't believe we're talking about this in a room like this. I don't even know if it's appropriate. But you know, when they're all about commission and they don't want to talk about anything else, I don't want to talk to them. it's so not the client for me, and I don't need that kind of business anyway. And I'm sure everyone in the room can appreciate the people that have got you to come down the lowest are the most awful clients to work with. The people that never, ever question your commission are the most amazing clients. I love them, they love me, we appreciate each other, we respect each other, and then they're future clients. So it's kind of simple for me, I just don't go down that path because we don't really need to.
It's interesting though, I've been in business for 8 years and I've done a lot of business. My sister and I have done a lot. But it wasn't really until this year that kind of became crystallized for me, because honestly, we all kind of have this feeling, well, sure, I can suck it up because that's just one more. And if I don't get that, and then you kind of always live with this fear of, if I say no to them, and then nothing's going to happen tomorrow, and then I'm dead the next day because there's no business. But that's not usually how it is. These horrible bloodsuckers, and I mean people that are awful to work with. And by the way, I have
In the most loving way.
Everything, such a loving way. I could write a book. I could make a movie. I could make a mini series on horrible people. But
Bloodsuckers of Pleasanton.
a quick story. I just closed a deal. This lovely couple, but horrible to deal with. Horrible. Finally, last night was finalizing some paperwork. Talking to him, she's in the background screaming, and I mean screaming. And this deal is done, it's all put to bed, it's all good. So he wants to come over and drop off some papers. And I kind of had this epiphany after months and thousands of hours, ridiculous hours, literally 20 hours of negotiating $2,000 in repairs. Literally 20 hours.
That's a lot of money.
So anyway, he comes over and he brings over the paperwork, and I say to him, would you like to come in for a glass of whiskey? And he goes, yes, I would. And I realized as I hadn't put together, it was the wife in the background who was making him crazy and making them seem crazy, and it's just, people are interesting. But the commission thing, here's the bottom line is this. Years ago, I was working with an agent out of Danville, Juju Chawla. You guys probably a lot of her, you guys know her. And we had a situation, and I said to her, well, Juju, we have to figure out how to save some money or make this work for my client, or our clients. Would you consider reducing your commission? And I asked her, which I think everyone was supposed to do, but I didn't know. And she looked at me, oh no, I won't. So matter of fact, so completely, that I remember thinking, I'm going to try that. It wasn't an emotional thing. It was just like, no, this is my rate. And as I started to say, 8 years in, I'm finally realizing that if it doesn't work, don't give it away. And that's not to say you're going to get a 6%. I don't think I've ever, well, maybe a couple times, but I'm certainly not a regular 6%er. And sometimes you have to work with them. But the point is, you're worth it, and the reason they're hiring you is because of your expertise and what you know and what you're going to save them.
Your value add, right?
Speaking of value, you truly have to know, first of all, what you value yourself. I look at myself, at minimum, I think I'm worth at least $500 an hour. I really mean that. So you truly have to value yourself, but at the same time though, you have to really show the value that you bring to the relationship. So when I think an amazing listing presentation. We have everything custom. I mean, newsletter and everything else, but one of them is the listing presentation. I think it's really, really important that you sit down with your client and set the expectation ahead of time. You know, you're going to be meeting with them for at least an hour and a half. During an hour and a half, show the value. What is it that you're willing to do? What is it that sets you apart? How are you different? Why are you so good at what you do? One of the things that I do is I write offer instructions for my client, and I gotta tell you, when I write offer instructions, 2-page long, and it's just basically a guideline for all the other agents to kind of follow along. I usually get just about everything that I'm looking for, including all the things that sellers normally pay for, like NHD and things like that. But it's about the value that you bring to the relationship. You gotta know what you're doing. More importantly, you gotta know the contract. If they see that you're very articulate and that you're very sophisticated in how you handle yourself, and more importantly, any objections that come to mind, you know, as a former police officer, when we go up and show up on a scene, we don't come up with the 1 or 2 solutions. I already have plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F all ready to go. And when you're able to handle all that, and you know what your value is at, and you set your bottom line, they truly respect that, and they will stick with that. So.
Great. So what are a few basic, simple ideas that you guys would want to share with anyone that would be looking to like spruce up their business or even get into real estate new right now? I'll go. Go for it.
This is probably not going to be anything that anyone was expecting to hear, but I just want to stress the importance of being good to people and being nice to people. And a lot of times in this business, particularly You can't hear me? Okay, thank you. A lot of times in this business, agents are actually assholes to other agents. And that is shocking
This is going
to
on our
me.
Facebook page.
No. But that's actually shocking to me that agents can actually be mean and rude to other agents. And also to affiliates and lenders and that sort of thing. We're not in the business to be jerks to each other. We're in the business to be good to each other. And so if I could just stress one thing, that will take you so far in this business. When you are good to other agents and good to other people, and you write an offer on their listing, guess who's gonna get it? Because the listing agent is the one that's really mostly in control. Am I right or wrong? The listing agent is mostly in control. So the listing agent wants to work with a good agent, so they're gonna pick you, or they're gonna give you the opportunity. You're not the highest offer, guess what? You're gonna get the opportunity to be the highest offer. When you're a listing agent and you're king of the hill and I'm so good because I'm the listing agent and I'm not going to return calls and all that, I promise you it will come back to you. Of course, I know that doesn't happen at all in this room. But
Raise your hand.
yeah, but really be good to each other. Be good to our lenders. Do you know how hard it is to be a freaking mortgage broker right now? These guys work so hard. Their business is harder than it has ever been in the history of the universe. Be good to those people because they're working hard to make you shine. So just be good to everyone, your affiliates, your title people, because I promise you it will all come back. Not exactly probably what you want to hear, but.
No, that's great. All the lenders are not getting a standing ovation right now.
It's funny, I actually was gonna say a similar thing in that, I find that there are agents that I want to work with, and I have had agents say to me, oh my gosh, that was such a nice transaction, that we definitely seek each other out again, because there are some fools out there who are just, it's about their ego, and it's about them being on top, and I don't even go there. I don't play that game, and I try to make it clear. I recently had a hot shot, kind of just trying to be all super, super sexy and all this, and I finally had to say, stop with that. Can we just stop so that we can kind of get this done? And this person was just like, and the rest was fine, but it's all about stress. When people are stressed, they go to this place that's perhaps their fallback behavior, and that's lousy behavior in a lot of cases. So the thing you can do is lead with nice. Honestly, lead with nice, lead with fair, lead with solve a problem. Because this business is rife with problems. People are dramatic, things pop up, and if you go in with an attitude of combativeness, I don't even want to go there. I mean, honestly, I just try to stay away from that big time. On the lender side, though, I have some advice for some lenders. It's interesting that it's
Part of the question.
it's truth though, here. Well, I get 1,000 calls from lenders, thousands and thousands and thousands of calls from lenders. And I have to say, I usually don't hear from 95% of them ever again after I get that phone call, because they want to have lunch with me. And I don't, as anyone here knows, I don't do lunch. And so I say, come to my broker's tour, you're welcome to see it, you're welcome to come. There's a handful of people, and many in this room, who I trust completely, that they show up consistently. They're there week in and week out, and they're there for me if I have a problem or a question. And I hear from them again. But again, it's the consistency. It's not the make a call, have a lunch with you. It's about being around, being available, and stopping at the open houses on Sundays when somebody's standing around not doing anything, or be like that. That's my advice. Stay consistent. If you want to be in it for the long haul, do a Dale Edelman. Dale came in, he's in insurance. I mean, who was Dale a year ago? He's consistent, he's here, he's helpful. He's a go-to guy now because he's consistent and he's a nice guy, and that's what I suggest to him.
All right, Dale!
Yeah, nobody likes Dale, so I don't know what the problem is.
I can actually talk about affiliates in a little bit, so.
The other one is, two things. One is, this is not about selling. And a lot of agents that I come across, they're chasing, they want to sell. It's not about selling. It is about serving first. I mean, to me, serving is such a privilege to be able to serve others. But the other one is to be different from everybody else. I'll give you an example. If you're brand new, I want you to think outside the box. I want you to think differently. For example, one of my recommendations to new people is that you really want to get to know people, go work at Starbucks. 8 to 10, like Donna said, be consistent. How about Monday? How about Wednesday? How about Friday? You get out there, have your name tag, get to know the barista. You know, Brian Buffini talks about the contact care community. We all want to feel important. I'll give you an example. When you walk into a coffee shop, someone says, hey, Mony, how are you today? I'm fine. Hey, how's your boys doing? Oh my God, wow. Just to get that, think about it. If you do the same thing to the other people, you go to the barista, you do the same thing. But you're there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in a suit and shirt and tie and with the name tag on. They're going to start to get to know you. They're going to go, what does the guy do? And pretty soon, when you start to know everybody, that's what this business is all about. It's about people's business. And it's not about selling, it's about serving others first. So set yourself differently from everybody else.
When you said that, I thought you meant work at Starbucks, as in like
That
go
too,
get a
yes.
job at Starbucks. I was like,
Well, a lot of them part-time,
wait,
yes.
what? I mean, that would help with
There's
my
benefits after 20 hours. So,
my fitness, with my addiction, but. All right, so, speaking of being nice to agents, however, we are in somewhat of a competitive environment, right? So how do you guys set yourselves apart with your competition to be the top producer sitting up here right now?
I guess I don't really think of people in the room being my competition. I think I live from a feeling of abundance, and I think there's plenty of business to go around for everyone. And if you live in a world of scarcity, then you'll always feel that competition, and I'm up against this person or that person. If I don't get a listing, I'm bummed, but it is what it is. There's enough to go around for everybody, and if you really live from that space of abundance, abundance will pour over you. I also think when I'm on a listing presentation, that Mony said, doing a proper listing presentation for an hour and a half, that's awesome. I can't imagine anyone wanting me in a house for an hour and a half, and quite frankly, I don't want to be in their house for an hour and a half. So I get in the door, and this is probably different. I have a listing presentation, but I don't think I've ever opened it in the history of ever. I don't even know what's in my little listing book. I bring it in case I always think I'm going to open this one of these days. But I want to know what do they want to talk about? Is it about marketing? Great, let's talk about marketing. Is it about commission? Let's dive into that. Is it about price? Are they looking for the highest price that the agent's going to tell them? Then we'll tackle that. But I think that's what's a little bit different about me is that let's go for what you want to talk about, because, well, maybe if I stayed in the room for an hour and a half, they'd be like, oh my God, let me just sign the freaking things and get out of here. I should try that, actually.
You should.
Try that. That's probably a good idea.
That's all I get my listings. Come on.
That's awesome. I didn't think about that. I'm going to try
Yeah, you
that.
better sign, yes.
I'm in and out.
One of the things I find that I do, this is, again, in a space that I sell, we sell a lot in Ruby Hill, a neighborhood here in Pleasanton. And I've lived there for
Where is
18
that?
It's here in Pleasanton, yeah. I've lived there for 18 years. I know the neighborhood inside and out. I was there at the beginning. So for me, it's second nature, very easy. If I lived in another neighborhood, I'd probably have a similar experience. But because of that experience and that knowledge, I do know everything that's going on. I know the numbers. I don't necessarily go look to the numbers for fun, but it's important to know that because I'll be walking my dog, or I'll be at the club, or I'll be doing anything, and people will say, what's up with the market? And I know my stuff. And because I know it, I have that legitimacy, but I don't have to sell. I don't have to say, what do you want to sell? You want to sell? I'll come to your house. It's like, you can't do that. It's more of a, yeah, this is what's going on. And then they'll say, well, I was thinking about listing. Oh, that's great. Well, I'd love to help you. These are certain things you should probably think about. Really, would you come on out? And then there are the times you go on out, and then 2 days later, their house is on the market with Joe Smith. And you're like, okay, well, it is what it is. And you get a stomachache for a minute, and then you kind of go, and you don't stop giving. You basically share your knowledge. People appreciate that. And when people feel that you're not, again, coming from a place of scarcity, but you're saying, hey, so you listed with Joe? Good job. Joe's a great guy, and I hope that you do well, and I definitely want to bring buyers in to bring it, but take the high road. If you can't, just take the high road. There are so many people who want you to get scrappy. I have people all the time who like to want to get down in the trenches and say, what do you, I'm like, I don't have time for that. Let's be pleasant, let's have a nice day, and let's stay on the top road and do that.
Goes back to being nice, right?
I agree with both. Gina, love the fact that you're talking about thinking about abundance. I mean, there's so much business out here, you guys. It's about you. You gotta really follow through. When you meet people, I mean, like I said, Brian Buffini, man, he got that thing down. The contact care community. You made a contact, show that you care, and make that person part of the community. Send a card out, let them know that this is what you do for as a business as well. But just let them know what you feel, how you felt, what you learn about it, that you enjoy talking about. That's really big. A couple of the things that I do that's different is that I have a Segway, so I farm on a Segway, so I'm different. I have my logo and everything on there. And also, I'm one of those, I believe in the early bird gets the worm. I really do. When a home comes on the market, I know every street in Livermore. I know each and every street. I know what the price point is. I know what's selling. I know what gets sold. And more importantly, what's pending, right? Because that right there is knowledge that you bring back. They appreciate that very much. But more importantly, decisiveness. I think it's really critical that you have to be decisive. I'll give you a couple examples. I had a home came on the market at 4 o'clock. The agent put it late on a Wednesday. And I went to see it at 5 o'clock. I called my buyer and said, hey, I found your home. So she came over. Her husband is in Oregon. So she said, what do we need to do? I said, well, let me call the agent, because the relationship I have with the agent, I just met him last week for about half an hour. And I called him and I said, what do we need to do? He said, well, write a good offer, strong. I said, I'll present it before it hits the broker's door. So, of course we did, but the husband is in Oregon. He hasn't seen the house yet. He said, I can't sell it to you. We'll take it as a verbal, but here's what we're gonna do. I said, call your husband up, change the flight, I'm paying for it. Get him out here now. 8 hours later, he saw the house, we got it. One example, here's another example. I had a buyer that called on my listing, and she saw this home after several homes, and she really liked this house. It fits all of her needs. But her home is an active contingent, it's not for sale yet. So I said, yes, here's what we need to do. We can write a contingent, but here's what we gotta do. I said, well, I take a look at the comps. Her home is worth $10,000. I said, the first thing we need to do is we need to list your home a lot lower. We'll put that in writing as well to the seller at $395,000, right? And in addition to that, I said, if you really want this house, I guarantee you that I can sell this home at $395 or higher in 17 days. Let's do this. Let's put $5,000 on the table. We put in a writing saying that, seller, if you allow us to be in contingent offer with your home, just give us 17 days, we'll give you $5,000. I said, I'll do you even better. I said, why do you put $3,000 your own money? I'll put $2,000 my own money. That's how confident I am about selling this home. I said, if in 17 days we can't sell it, seller, you may take the $5,000 with no questions asked. You have to be decisive. You got to move heaven and earth in order to get things done. If you have to, get out there at 8 o'clock at night, whatever you got to do. This is not, this is not a part-time job, you guys. This is a business. And what I realize is that a lot of people are chasing the business. When you are professional at what you do, and you're really good at what you do, with sophistication, articulation, and comes with all the knowledge that you bring, they will chase you. They will chase you. So, yeah, you don't have to chase the business anymore. So that's where I come from with that. Thank you.
Wow. He's hungry. I like it. Woo. All right, so how do you overcome sellers who think in this market that it's a good idea to list high?
The numbers.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
Is their home much more special than the one on the street?
Well, again, it's helpful when you know the numbers. And then, basically, and again, I can go in most of the time and I can say, here are the tools that we have. This is what the numbers are looking like. These are the conditions. What I usually find, though, is when I have that conversation, especially in the last year, people who say they want this number, I'm like, that's great. We're gonna put that number right on there. As soon as we get rid of that big brass chandelier, and as soon as we paint over that oak that you've got, it's like, great, that might be a great price that we could get, but in today's market, buyers want a certain thing, and so I usually have a trade-off. And I actually tell them, we could probably get more than that if you were to make these changes to your house. I spend more time changing houses out than just about anything, because buyers want this. And I recently had a house that was put on the market. We were going to list it at approximately 1.6, and it was a house tired, but clean, but tired. Beige carpet, brass fixtures, oak on top of oak. And I brought many people through, and many people were like, oh, this is great. Yeah, well, it will. There's a graveyard in this somewhere where brass and oak is just all sitting. But anyway, so we were going to bring this house on at 1.6. I brought several people through. They all walked through and went, this is nice. And they continued walking and never came back. So I was able to convince my people that it's time to make some changes. And I talked them into spending $20,000 on their house. And I said, I promise you, if you listen to me, amazing things will happen. That you have to believe me. They put $20,000 in their house. We sold the house for $1,740 in 4 hours time. But honest to goodness, it was you have to make the changes to your house. And I say you use that conversation, because if they think you're gonna do nothing and they wanna get top dollar, everyone's wasting time.
That's a great way to look at it.
I don't make promises because I have had to eat my words before. There's been many times when the seller wants to list higher and I am adamant about don't do it, and then guess what? It sells higher, and then I look like a knucklehead. So I try not to make those kind of promises anymore. But really I think the key thing is showing stats, right? Showing on paper what it looks like to chase the market down with price. And they get it if they can see it. And I'm probably guessing Mony does this because he's analytical of all the paperwork and all this spreadsheets
All
and
the
stuff.
time.
At Starbucks.
Yeah, right, at Starbucks, yeah. But I think that's a really good way to do it. We all know that, so here's how I explain to my sellers. Buyers are savvy. Buyers don't rely necessarily on their buyer's agent anymore. They do all the research themselves, they find a home themselves, then they call the agent and say, I found a home I want to see, and we'll probably write an offer on it. Is that not how it works today? It's totally different than years ago when the agent was in control and said, here's the houses I'm going to show you. No, the buyer says, here's what I want to see because this is what I found. They're already savvy, and typically they're not even calling their agent if they find a house that's overpriced on the market. So they're doing that for you. You should explain that to the seller. Buyers are smart, they get it. They know when your house is overpriced. And here's what will happen if you overprice it and you'll chase the market downward.
And I agree with that as well. It's all about the numbers, really. You have to take a look at not only the numbers in terms of price, but more important, take a look at the days on the market. Days on the market is huge. But if you really want to change their mind, take a look at when it comes to numbers, take a look at the pending. Call the agents. Find similar homes that are in pending contract, and call the agent. Get those responses first before you get back to the seller. Because what happened is, when you go back and talk to them, you said, hey look, I already know what the active's going for, I already know what the sold's going for, but guess what? The true numbers are in the pending status. So you already said, hey, I talked to 4 or 5 agents already. Here's what's pending here, here's what's pending here, here's what's pending here, here's what we gotta do. And more importantly, I said, look, 100% of the time, all my listings, all the homes I bought and sold, if we don't, in this current market, we don't sell the home in 10 to 14 days, you have to promise me that you change the price. Because it's always about the price. Okay, and it has to be perceived. And then here's another thing, with the current market, if you look at the market right now, back to May, like in Livermore, for example, we had less than 90 homes for sale, right? But now we have over 160 homes. So if you look at the days on the market, it's over average, it's about 44 days right now. So it's quite a bit. Right? So if you go back and take a look at the sold or pending comps, if they're sold, say, a couple months ago and maybe 3 months ago, say at 640, you can't go back to a home and list at 640 right now. You might want to start at 619, 900. Because what happens, you got to show value from the get-go. When you show value from the get-go, okay, that psychological factor is huge. You get so many more people coming in and taking a look at the home. And when you look at the more people you get exposed to, of course, they will, when someone loves a home, when someone loves anything for that matter, they will willing to do anything extra for that person, for that house, or whatever, it doesn't matter. They're willing to do something different and extra for that. Before they may not have the money, but now it's, you know what, we really like this house. Hey, can you call Uncle Tom or Joe, whatever, let's get the extra money. They will do that, and that's what happens when you fall in love with the home.
Houses are like bread. The first week they're soft and gooey, and if you're priced right, you're just going to go right off the shelf. After a week, they get stale, and stale does not taste good. And you usually have to do a price reduction later on because people don't want to buy stale bread. Oh, put big stuffing out of it, great. Okay, you can sell it for half the price.
What about if you can't eat gluten?
That's a whole other game. That's a whole other panel.
You too, Melvin.
Last question, just on affiliates. We were talking about them earlier a little bit. How effectively are you using affiliate partnerships? And how strong are they? And how are they a part of your business marketing plan?
To me, I'm not very strong about it. To me, I never really think about my affiliates in that way. I think of them as a business partner. So to me, when it comes to your affiliate, you got to build the trust first. Just know that you're a sincere person. Just know you're here to help people, to help each other first. And then oftentimes I'll get a call that goes, man, Mony, I remember you. You were so sincere. You were so nice about this. So you helped this person. And I get the call anyways. I never ask about the business. but just be sincere. We're here to serve each other. We're here to serve others. And when you truly believe in that, when you truly believe in that, they will call you. Promise you. But build a relationship, build that trust with them first.
A couple things. I have a title agent that I've been working with for 8 years who is just marvelous, and I would like to use her with every transaction because I don't have to worry about one iota of title when I have a deal. However, that's not how it works. But I have to say, here's my advice to others, and for what it's worth. When I see, and this is going to be something, we're going to throw something at me, but when I see, pre-title or with preliminary title is set up with blah, 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 if it was a multi-offer scenario, I suppose that's fine, but I just think that's kind of bossy. I mean, I'm not going to go out and just say, use my title. I would love for you to use my title, but I figure there's so many other things we have to deal with in getting something sold that why be contentious to start? And I kind of feel like I put in some offers, and the agent is like, look, remember that freeze? I set this up early, and I just think, you're already starting on a negative if you don't choose what they're asking to do. So I personally am not a fan of that whole thing where you set that up. I'll fight to the death for my gal to use her, but I'm not going to be pushy that way, and I don't love that.
She won't do that to me.
The second thing, that's a whole other family. The second thing is I'm surrounded with amazing lenders, and I have lenders in the room who are really good, at least with us, probably good at everything, but they have really been good to us in certain categories. So I know that whenever there's any reverse mortgage or new buyer or somebody who's really struggling with the concepts, Don McGlinchey is who I'll call and say, Don, can you talk this person through? They're on the ledge, and he's the perfect person to do that. I've got others out here, friends and people that I love that will refer for certain situations. So it's good to know their strengths, and I do respect greatly people who are strong have been in the business for a long time, do a great job. So we need you guys big time.
I would say for affiliates, number one, I love you guys, and you are underrated and work so hard.
Let's give them a big round of applause. All the
You guys work so hard, and here's what I don't agree with in the business. You guys come to us and want to buy us lunch and us this and us that. We should be buying you lunch. We should be constantly thanking you and giving our gratitude to you because you guys kick butt, so thank you so much.
When are we going?
And for agents, one thing that I love doing, I love picking up the phone. I call, if I don't get a live person, I leave a message. I call all the time and just thank them to death. Really, the least you can do is just call and say thank you. I mean, just gotta be so sincere about it, and people won't forget that, I promise you. You leave that message, and it probably made their day. So, continue to do that.
Reciprocate, right? So as far as affiliate relationships go, I think they're so critical because everybody that is on your team is a reflection of you. So I think that piece is big. So aligning yourself with the right people and the right affiliates is big. I don't care about anything but good service. I don't have my title reps run around and do things for me. That's not my gig. I don't need that. I love the title reps. They rock. But it's the escrow officer who gives me phenomenal service. That's who I want to align myself with because they're a reflection of you. When your clients are sitting in front of them signing off, it all comes back to you. Do you get that you are always the center as far as the bad guy or the good guy? You refer a bad contractor, it's not the contractor's fault, it's our fault. A bad lender, all of that, it's all a reflection of you. So align with the right people and guess what? Treat them well and they'll treat you well back.
Awesome. Great, thank you guys so much.
I always leave with something positive, so I'm usually the last one to talk again, right? But here's one thing I like to leave with. I practice this in my business every day. Okay, so I want to leave you with a quote. That is, it's better to make a difference than to make a dollar.
Amen.
Thank you.
All right. So did we find value today or what? Alright, so I gotta keep coming back. I thought it was cool how they called some of the names out for those that have been consistent. So consistency is the key, everybody, which is why I hope to see you all next Friday. Community announcements before the meeting's over. In the center of the room.